In this video, I will explain what happened to Tesla stock on Friday and why it went completely parabolic, almost hitting $400 per share. More specifically, Tesla's stock closed up 5.34% on the day, up another 1.4% in after hours to $394.67 per share. And it looks like my target of new all-time highs by the end of December could be on the low side if this continues. But first, GoCux5908 posted on one of the last videos that this channel has great content, but it tends to ramble, so that 10 minutes of high quality content are in an 18-minute video. I think if the videos were tighter, the subscriber count would be much higher. I think that was great feedback. We're going to try to do that in this video, to condense all this information in as quick amount of time as possible. And we shall see. If you guys like shorter, more condensed videos, then you'll subscribe to the channel and I will know to do that format instead of more in-depth rambling breakdowns. Nonetheless, I do appreciate any constructive criticism that is posted in the comments of these videos. What I don't appreciate is the 10,000 fake accounts posting weird crypto scams in the comment section. If you guys see those, just disregard them. They're not real. They're scams. I mean, honestly, I think it's hard to miss because, like, there's 3 of these comments for every 1 real comment on the video. Now, to give you the long story short version of what happened on Friday, it was really the option activity that was driving Tesla stock higher. As you guys probably already know, there's 2 stocks that dominate the majority of the options trading in our markets. First of which is Nvidia. Second of which is Tesla. Now, on those days where Tesla is number 1, like you seen on Friday, you get a lot of explosive activity. And let me explain how this works. When individuals, hedge funds, institutions, or retail investors are buying options that expire that day or a week out that are pretty close to the money, that forces market makers to go out and buy more shares. If you own, let's say, a $400 call, and we're approaching $400, well, factoring in that break even, market makers, they take the back end of those options about 90% of the time because it's a lot of risk. You got to put up a lot of capital to take the back end of those options. And if market makers have to give you 100 shares at $400, let's say, and Tesla runs to 420, market makers, they're not going to buy 100 shares at 420. They're going to buy 100 shares at $399, right? So as you get more option activity coming in, you get this larger and larger gamma squeeze with market makers essentially buying the stock. And in the sake of saving time, you can see these videos from the Schwab network is talking about the current gamma squeeze that is taking place in Tesla stock. So let's take a look at the option activity that we seen for Friday's expiration. And it is massive. Okay, even for like the 425 call, all of these expired worthless, but you still had 31,000 contracts that traded hands with 32,526 in open interest. The 360 call was deep in the money. You had volume of 43,000. This is likely large hedge funds, institutions that are making these trades, right? These 360 calls were not exactly cheap on Friday. The $400 call expired out of the money. These expired worthless, but you still had almost 40,000 contracts that traded hands on Friday. But these ones here are the big ones. This 380 call really helped propel Tesla stock in this gamma squeeze with the highest volume I've ever seen on a single option. You had 296,399 contracts traded for the 380 call. Versus open interest, which was only at 18,120. This is 10x, more than 10x, the amount of open interest in volume. That is what drove Tesla higher. The 385 call had 166,000 contracts that traded hands versus open interest of a little under 12,000. And the 390 call had volume of 113,324 with open interest of 17,000. See, and taking a look at the volume here of 208,000 contracts that traded hands on Friday, at the 375 call, which was valued at $1,400, that shows you this is really not just retail investors. This, I would say, is hedge funds and institutions that are driving Tesla higher in the options market. What's actually crazy is Tesla stock closed at almost $395 per share. These options at the end of the day for the 390 call were only going for $11, 11 cents. So they went from $11 to over $400 via that 1.4% move in after hours. And it was a lot of this hedging around the 385 call and the 390 call that went in the money in after hours that drove the stock higher in after hours. That gamma squeeze continued throughout the trading day and in after hours as well, which is a very strong sign for what we can expect in the next upcoming week. And from what we can see already, there was a lot of option activity last week on Friday specifically for this upcoming week expiration of December 13th. Specifically around the $400 call, you had 89,000 for volume on Friday with 32,520 for open interest. That's a huge number. You also have 47,000 for volume on the 420 call for next week. So odds are good that next week, Tesla's going to be at all-time highs. Again, assuming this gamma squeeze does continue. You had 424 different trades totaling $418.62 million with a positive order value of 79%. We have seen this number excess of multiple billions of dollars every single day. It actually wasn't that high relative to where it can be. The only difference is this $418 million is really just in short duration options, which have that larger gamma effect. I also do think the short sellers are going to be under a lot of pressure, especially as Tesla breaks out to a new all-time high. That's typically not when a stock tends to stop. If Tesla can get to a new all-time high, let's say 415 or 420, odds are pretty good from that point. It runs to, let's say, 450, which is my roughly year-end call. And short sellers really have not covered on their short positions at all. You have 2.72% short interest of free float, $28.05 billion sold short in Tesla stock, totaling about 76 million shares currently sold short. On Friday, you only had 191,000 shares that were covered on. In regards to 76 million shares currently sold short, that is like nothing. So this is purely a gamma squeeze. This is not a short squeeze. If we start to see shorts actually cover and get squeezed, which is likely going to start happening pretty soon, yeah. Tesla could be a $500 stock by the end of December. What's actually fascinating as well is over on StockTwits, sentiment is only neutral at 52. People are not overly bullish on Tesla, which, as a contrarian indicator, it means you're probably not too frothy in Tesla, which is crazy to say as Tesla's almost at all-time highs. Message volume was higher, coming in at 65 versus 60 in the prior day, and participation was high at 55. And what's probably the most remarkable part of all is you did not have any news on Friday that drove Tesla's stock higher. Nothing. It was simply people like the stock, they're trading the stock, and you're seeing a gamma squeeze. And rightfully so. As you head into 2025, Tesla is by far the easiest stock to sit here and say, what's going to benefit next year from a Trump presidency, from deregulation, from maybe lower inflation, from lower federal funds rates, and a decent economy that's an AI name. I mean, there is so many positive things going for Tesla right now. I mean, it makes logical sense why people are excited about Tesla. They should be. And honestly, it gets even more exciting considering Tesla's RSI is only at 73. Tesla's RSI can get into the high 80s before you really start to get too overbought and see that eventual pullback. And from a purely technical perspective, Tesla looks beautiful. It's almost a certainty at this point, unless something dramatic happens in markets or we get really bad news for Tesla, that Tesla's going to close out this year at a new all-time high. I'm still going to keep my 450 target. I don't want to sound too optimistic here, too ambitious for 3 trading weeks, but judging off of the activity that we've seen on Friday, the reason to be excited about Tesla for 2025, everything is going right for Tesla in 2025, or at least it's perceived to be that way next year. I mean, with the option activity, with the short positioning where we are, Tesla could very well be a $500 stock by the end of this month. And as we continue to knock out these risk catalyst in markets, jobs report on Friday, CPI this upcoming week, the Fed on December 18th. You're going to have a green light for that Santa Claus rally, for the animal spirits, if you will, to build in markets, and for winners to keep winning and losers to likely keep losing into the end of this year. Something else that we have not experienced in a long time is nobody has a chance to tax loss harvest at this point. If you did not tax loss harvest, in September or so, you don't have a chance anymore. You're almost at all-time highs. Almost everyone that has ever bought Tesla stock is profitable now. So you're not going to get that added pressure on Tesla into the end of the year. Now, as you guys know, I am expecting a correction could probably start in January. If Tesla theoretically does rally to, let's say, $500 by the start of January, you could come down like 20% in the month of January. Don't be surprised if that happens, but that would still only put you down to like $400. Even if you fell 25%, it would put you down to $375. So I'm not convinced we're going to have another great buying opportunity. Of course, unless Tesla only rallies to like 450, which is my base case scenario, and then comes down 20%, then Tesla would be back to about $358 per share. And I think, yeah, that would be an opportunity. You would want to buy as many shares as you could within reason. And if Tesla stock fell about 30%, if we rally to 450, that would put the stock back to about $310 per share. And honestly, as a Tesla bull, I would like to see that happen so I can buy more shares. But at this point, it's looking less and less likely like that will actually happen. So let me know what you guys think about Tesla stock right now. What's going on with this situation? I would love your thoughts down below in the comment section. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you guys like these shorter, more condensed videos. That's the best way to give feedback, is just by subscribing or commenting down below. So let me know what you guys think. Nonetheless, enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend. I will see you in the next one.